Good morning, evening, or afternoon, and welcome to the introduction before the introduction, if you will. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm here with my co-host Tony Robinson. We're very excited as we're about to have Ryan Astley, Accrington Stanley, lone defender who's over from Everton this season. Is about to be on the show with us. We just wanted to give a little bit of introduction before we bring Ryan on. First and foremost, how are you doing today, Tony?
I'm doing well, Phil. Nice to be with you again. How's your weather in sunny old Phoenix?
Well, it's about 54 degrees Fahrenheit here right now and sunny, which is actually a little on the cool side for us.
Crossing the river. You know, you guys, you get your parkas and your skidoo suits with that weather. It's just around freezing here. We're getting a bit of freezing rain, but still walking around in shorts, so we're a little tougher up north. I think we're just trying a new format, a little bit of an intro before we bring the player in. We may have to get all of our riders and see if we can come up with a nice little intro for the intro. But yeah, we're looking forward to speaking with Ryan. And I think one of the things that we want to look at is the new signing that's just been announced. A young fellow by the name of Sebastian Anthony Quirk, and he's a midfielder from Everton. And we'll see if we can get some information from Ryan. But I think one of the things we just want to sort of cover in this little intro is how we sort of format the interview, the upcoming interview. Is we'll spend the first half talking about his Everton career, and then the second half about his time with Stanley, so we can you can see what's going to be forthcoming in the interview. So I'm looking forward to it. How about you, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he's a guy that ever since he stepped on the pitch this season, he's really made a name for himself there on the back line. He's played a number of different positions. Formation has usually called for a three-man back line this season. He's played on the center some, he's played on the right side some, so he's really been, wherever Coleman needs him. And the thing that I think really is important is that we're starting to get in some players on the back line to replace some of the guys that have gone out, because we have certainly had quite a few guys. I mean, obviously, Mark Hughes was a long-term guy that left. We had Cameron Burgess, who got sold at the beginning of last season. We, of course, had Callum Johnson went to Portsmouth a couple of years back. So, I mean, with all the people exiting the back line, I think it's been really important to get Ryan in on loan and give us somebody solid back there this year.
Well, yeah, especially since the injuries really from the start of the season affected the back line as much as anybody.
Yeah, with Nottingham out.
Yeah, and I mean, what we found out talking to Harvey is that the different positions they've had to adapt to, and so we'll find out how he's coping with that today with Ryan. And I'm wondering how long it's going to be before I actually call him Rick, but hopefully we'll get through the interview and do it okay. Yeah, looking forward to it, Phil.
Yeah, we'll definitely in the intro. I am going to kind of just get that out of the way, if you will. I imagine it's kind of like the Stanley milk thing to him, where he's heard it all. I know that on occasion when I've been on iFollow and you maybe happen to have the away team announcers on, inevitably the first time he touches the ball, there's some kind of a Rick Astley question. But I definitely do need to ask him if he's ever been rickrolled before.
Yeah, it sounds good. I think let's see if we can get him on board then.
Yeah, let's get him on the line. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to an extra special edition of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy. I'm here with my co-host Tony Robinson, where we welcome an extra special guest today. Ever since coming over from Everton on loan this season, he's really been a mainstay on the Accrington Stanley back line, starting 20 games for us. And, you know, he's a guy that we're never going to give up because he has never let us down. Welcome to the show, Ryan Astley. And I did just have to get that out of the way because I'm sure you've probably heard them all.
I could see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's like
the over under. I was having the over under on when that would come up was 10 minutes, and you beat it by 9.5 minutes. Now you got that in my head, and Ryan, I appreciate you taking time to do this with us today, and I promise I'll stay away from those jokes. But, you know, it's funny when you get.
Thanks for being a good sport on that.
Well, you know, and I get some of that in the sense that my wife and I both share the same first name. We're both Tony, and so I've heard all the jokes when it comes to names, and I can sympathize and relate to Ryan that when he after a certain time you just shrug it off and just water off a duck's back kind of thing.
Yeah, I've had it my whole life. I blame my dad.
Okay, the last thing I wanted to ask you about is I bet when that whole Rickroll thing started, you hated that because it brought it back up.
No, I don't mind it now. It's good. It's good banter with the lads, and yeah, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it?
Can you sing?
No, unfortunately not. No.
No. Well, neither can I. But we've beaten that one. We've done enough on the singing part. Let's get into the reason why we're on the podcast, and we want to talk some football. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about your Everton career and then your time with Stanley. But first of all, we've just before, as we're recording this, we've just learned of Stanley signing a gentleman by the name of Sebastian. He goes by Seb Anthony Quirk from Everton, and so I guess he's a midfielder. Can you tell us anything about him? You played with him. Do you know him? What's the situation there?
Yeah, so I know Seb very well. We've come through the Everton ranks together. He's a very good player. He's very aggressive. He's a powerful player. He will give 100% in everything he does, and he's a great addition to the team.
So is this a situation where maybe does John Coleman come and talk to you before he's making a signing like that and say, you know, you played with this guy before and kind of get the inside take it all?
Yeah, so obviously John knows what sort of player he is because he's watched his clips and watched a few games. He just asked me really what sort of a lad he is, and I said he's a great lad and he'll fit well into the changing room.
And has he trained with you guys yet, or will that start tomorrow?
Yes, he trained this morning with us, first time today.
Will he be eligible for Saturday if he's up to speed?
He's fit. Yeah. So unless there's any complications with I'm not sure what it is, like the paperwork or anything, I think he should be able to be in the squad. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. It looks like, as I say, as you mentioned, Phil, John and Jimmy, they do their homework. So, yeah.
It looks
so
like
we're looking
for played at the Papa John's Trophy, though, so he may be cup tied for that. Was the one thing that I saw in that.
Well, if all goes well with Ryan today, maybe we can get Ryan to get him on the show in a couple of weeks down the road. But
yeah,
let's see how let's see how Ryan feels at the end of the interview.
Tony, you wanted to talk about Everton first, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is when you look at when a player comes in, and we see this several times that it could be their second or third loan spell, and this for you, Ryan, is your first loan spell after signing with Everton at a young age, and you've been there ever since. And one thing I did notice that, and I want to make sure I pronounce this right. You're from, is it Llanfair in Wales?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Llanfair, Caranion. Yeah, it's
Because
right in the stick.
Sorry, say that again.
It is right in the sticks in the Wales villages.
Yeah, I know when I was looking up to do some research, there's several articles. You must be a local celebrity in the County Times because you listed quite a few articles in there, and it said, and I'm not sure if this is correct. It's spelled Powys. Is that Powys?
Yeah, that's the county. Yeah.
Yeah. It says Powys Star makes EFL debut as Accrington Stanley beat 10 men Shrewsbury. What's it like to be a local legend at such a young age?
I wouldn't go far as local legend, but where I'm from, it's a small village, and everyone knows each other. So yeah, it's great to have everyone supporting me from back home. It gives me confidence knowing I got them behind me to go all the way.
When you say small village, about how large is it?
Oh, it's really small.
Like 500 people or 5,000 people?
About 1,000, I would like to. I think so, around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know one person, that you'll know somebody that knows that person, kind of thing. I know.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow my dad knows everybody.
So you've been on one club with your loan deal. When did you start your career with Everton? Was that when you were 16?
No, I first went to trials at Everton when I was 7 years old.
Oh wow!
Then I've been there since then. I signed after I was given a 6-week trial. Then I signed after 4 weeks, and I've been there since.
And then you made your debut with the under-23s when you were 16. Is that correct?
Yeah, when I was 16. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. What was it like being able to get onto the pitch at such a young age?
Yeah, especially with the U23s. That's a young age start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great experience. It was Sunderland away at their stadium, the Stadium of Light, and I wasn't supposed to be starting, but one of the players got ill overnight, and so he just said, "You're in." So I played the whole game. Yeah, it was great.
When you were 19, and you were regular, and you played under David Unsworth at the time, right? He was looking after the U23s.
Yeah.
And that was the time that the first team coach for Everton was Carlo Ancelotti. And did you get a chance to train with the first team, or did you get to any association with Carlo?
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I was on the bench a few times under him in the Premier League and trained quite a bit, and it was great experience. Yeah, I loved it. It was really good. Great man.
That was 2020-21 that you were on the bench of the Premier League, it looks like, right?
Oh, I'm not sure the exact dates.
Okay, I just had a stat sheet
up
here.
Our stat man would have it. Yeah.
18 at the time, so I mean that was a young age to be there at.
Before we go into his international career with Wales, and I think we just want to touch on obviously with him being, with you, Ryan, being at the club so long. How are you handling where they are situated in the Premier League? What's your feelings about what's going on now?
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough, but I have every confidence that they can get out of it. The players they've got are really good, and I think once they get that one win, and more wins will come, and I've got no doubt they'll get themselves away from the relegation.
I mean, it's a big topic of discussion. Everton being in the relegation battle, they were last year, and and got out of the beat Burnley, and then they went on finished quite well at the end of the season.
Yeah.
It's a team that's never been relegated, so I think that's
Yeah.
why it seems to get a lot of press. I mean, they're a big club, and
Massive
so
club.
yeah, yeah. It's just to me, it's a story that's, and I wondered how. I mean, there's a lot of pressure from the fans and that sort of thing, and on the board and that. Do you feel that Frank Lampard's the guy to stay with the club and get them out of trouble?
Yes, I think so. I think he's a good young manager that's the players will give him everything, and I think once it clicks on the pitch, just that one game, then I don't think they'll be able to fly back up the table and with Frank Lampard.
Yeah, because it's only, I mean, you look at the bottom six, and there's only, I think, 2 points separating the bottom grouping, and there's a big match this weekend. They're, I think, away at West Ham, which if they can, like you say, it just sometimes takes one result to sort of, yeah. So, anyway, sorry, Phil, I interrupted you.
Not at all. I mean, definitely, it's the kind of topic of hand right now, and I'm sure it probably doesn't make things any easier for you having to play for a Liverpool fan right now. But
there's some Everton. There's some Everton supporters in that dressing room, isn't there, Ryan?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah. But there's also
So I don't. Yeah.
Not good.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about your international career, because that's something I'm really interested in. So you played for Wales at every level, from under 17, under 19, under 20, under 21. What's it like to represent your country, and what are some of your most memorable times?
It's such an honour to play for my country, because my whole family are Welsh. I go to watch the first team all the time. I love playing for my country. It's something I can't put into words, and I've been lucky enough to captain the youth sides, and it's such a proud moment for me, but also for like my family. It's a great feeling when I walk out and see.
Wearing that captain's band has to be just another level of excitement.
Special, yeah. Can't put it into words.
Does any of your family get to see you playing at Stanley, Ryan?
Yeah, my mum and dad don't miss games. They come home and away. They love watching. They love it. They're both football fans, and they've not missed many games this season.
Yeah, because that's not an easy drive. I was going to say, it's not an easy drive to Accrington, but I mean, if there's some fixtures in the Midlands, it's probably a lot easier for them.
They don't mind where it is. They both come up. Yeah, they don't mind.
How far of a drive is it from your hometown to Accrington?
On a good drive, about 2.5 hours, which is not too bad.
Yeah, by U.S. standards, that's not too bad, but by England standards, that's a decent road trip.
We drive that far for a pint of milk over in North America.
Yeah, I think we did the math one time, and here in Phoenix, we have the Phoenix Rising, who are a second-tier team in the U.S., and our shortest road trip is Las Vegas, and it's roughly, I think it's 10 miles less than, or no, actually 10 miles more than the distance from Akron to Plymouth. So, I mean... it's just crazy seeing some of the distances. I think I was telling Darren one time that we were playing Tulsa, and if Accrington was playing Tulsa, that would be about like playing in Berlin.
Oh, God. That's horrible.
But Tony, now Tony has some fun questions here. We do have a part of the show where we take a little break from football and just do some fun questions. It started off with just some North England versus South England stuff, and Tony has really made this into the most popular segment in the show. So I'm going to turn it over to Tony now for the world famous rapid fire.
Thanks, Phil. I'm glad you didn't sing that intro. Okay, Cole. This is sort of some. We're going to touch on some of these. Seems to be a sort of a northern cuisine kind of thing, and be interesting to get your take on some of these. Do you prefer mushy or garden peas with your fish and chips?
Garden peas.
Now, do you have red or brown sauce in your fridge?
Red sauce, but not in the fridge.
Oh, okay, it's not in the fridge.
No,
would you eat? Would you eat brown pudding or brown pudding? Good. We'll have to edit that part, Phil.
Well, it's like chocolate pudding. Now you're speaking language.
No. Would you eat black pudding with your full English?
No.
Do you prefer gravy or curry on your chips?
Curry.
Do you have a favorite band, I should say, or musician?
Sam Fender.
Do you know them, Phil? Because that lost me on that one.
No, I'm not real familiar. What's their famous songs or albums that we may have heard?
He's a new upcoming singer. He's brilliant. If you want to listen to him.
Oh right.
What genre? What genre?
He's like sort of country sort of.
Oh, okay. So
he's like you heard of Luke Combs?
Luke Combs. Oh yeah, I love Luke Combs.
He's like that sort of.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. I'm a huge fan of that kind of music. So I'm not really. I'm actually surprised because I know that like Shania Twain and Garth Brooks are popular in England, but I know that country music as a whole isn't real popular. So do you like any of the older stuff like George Strait?
Yeah, and I love Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen.
Oh, okay, yeah, Morgan Wallen. I like him. That Whiskey Glasses. That's a good one.
Whiskey Glasses. Yeah, that's a great album. That album.
You know what? You know what? I've only heard one name out of that whole conversation that I can relate to. You lost me for about 2 minutes. That shows my age.
We'll have to trade some songs after the show.
Well, I'd say I know Shania Twain because she's from Ontario over in Canada, so that's how I know. And I actually saw her in concert, believe it or not. So I do know her music. Do you have a hobby outside of football?
I love darts.
Darts.
Yeah, I love darts.
What's your favorite game? Like 301 or
501?
501. Okay.
501 is one. I think that's quite big in England, and I mean it gets a lot of coverage on the telly. Does the dart matches? Do you have we may have already touched on this, but what club did you follow when you were growing up?
Arsenal.
Hey, I like that answer. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Not knocking on wood that we keep this run of form going.
Okay, and going into the changing rooms at Stanley, which player do you find has the best sense of humor?
Harvey Rogers. He makes me laugh every day.
Yeah,
it was just on. Yeah,
we just had Harvey on. Yeah. I don't know if he's a proud Yorkshireman. That clip we put on Facebook Twitter, his dad responded. So dad was quite obviously another proud Yorkshireman and proud of his son Harvey. So,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite takeaway?
Indian curry.
Very good.
That's a
Good.
very popular answer.
Yeah. Indian. Love an Indian in England. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Indian and Chinese are probably the two most popular, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can say that. Yeah, there's a lot you can get. Yeah, Chinese and the chippies, and but there's always, I think, every place you can find an Indian restaurant. Do you have any pre-match superstitions prior to sort of going out on the pitch?
Honestly, I don't have any. It's a lot of people do, but I don't have any, and I'm just not into that sort of thing. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know what I do before a game. I just go with the flow. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the best way to do, because it's some people, if they do it, put the one sock on and they win, and they put that same sock on the next time or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones out there, so it's just as well you don't, because I think it's a lot easier, that you're not stressed on making sure you did the routine right.
I used to have
just want to
did the wall test with his socks. Have you ever heard of the wall test? You take off your sock. You take off your sock and you throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, then it's time to change your socks. If it falls down, you put it back on.
That's pizza dough you're talking about. If it sticks to the wall, it's ready. Let's. I want to see. I'm going to test Ryan's knowledge. Do you know anything? Do you have any favorite or sports that you follow, I should say, in North America?
Oh, not really.
So if I was to give you three names, could you pick out the sport? Yankees, Dodgers, and the Red Sox. Would you know what sport those teams play in?
I would be guessing. I don't watch like that sort of sport, the NFL, all that sort. I don't.
Well, we won't put you on the spot then. But
yeah, that one was baseball, which I know cricket is kind of the thing over in England.
Well, the baseball too is I believe not 2 seasons ago, or it might have been before COVID. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees actually played a couple of games. I don't know if it was at Wembley Stadium or at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So they are trying to get more exposure of the sport in England. But I know NFL plays several games a season in England too. So anyway, last question for me is what person has had the most influence in your football career to date?
Oh, I would have to say David Unsworth, because I was with him for such a long time at the 23s. I was with him for about 4 or 5 years, and he was a defender himself while he played, and he taught me a lot, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, and such a legend really at Everton, and he's he's a household name through there. So that's a pretty good name to mention. Yeah, that's it from me, Phil. Thanks, Ryan, for being a good sport on that. And back over to the Stanley questions.
It's just a little bit of fun, and before we get into the last few questions that Tony and I had about Stanley, we do have a part of the show called Peter's Corner, where Peter Latham, of course, the chairman of the Accrington Stanley Supporters Trust, is the one who arranges these interviews with us, and we are very appreciative of that. He always sends over a few questions, and we like to call that Peter's Corner. And the first question that he had for you was, he said, you must be delighted with how quickly you have settled into League One football. What has been the biggest challenge for you?
There's a lot of challenges when you're because I've not played men's football before. So I'd say like the physicality side of it, that's a challenge. Yeah, I'd probably say that's the most challenging thing, is adapting to that sort of the physical side.
So you're just finding guys who are a lot bigger and stronger at that level,
Yeah.
I'd assume. And Peter also said you've now started to find the back of the net. Which is your favorite goal, and has it always been a regular feature of your game?
No, it's very rarely that I score. I think the ball's just landing where I am at the moment. I'm not complaining about that. But my favourite goal was probably one from the weekend against Bristol Rovers, backheel volley, which is not something you'd normally put for me, but I just done it on instinct.
Well, I was gonna ask you about that, because that was one of the questions we had later on, and but as Peter had it in his questions as well, is from my follow, it was really at first glance, it was hard to see how that ball went in, but then you could see what you did. You said that was just instinct, so you just didn't. That was nothing sort of, on. That's just sort of saying, well, that's where the ball is. I'll just try that and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I just seen the ball land, and I thought the best technique to do is that, and thankfully it come off, because it could have been a disaster, but thankfully I connected well with the ball. So
I wanted to congratulate Ryan, because him and Toby made the League One Team of the Week for his performance against Bristol Rovers. So congratulations on that, and we'd be amiss if we didn't mention that.
Well deserved. Well deserved. And then the last question that I had here from Peter before I go back over to Tony here is, Peter wanted to know, how have John Coleman, Jimmy Bell, John Doolin helped you with your coaching and influenced your career so far this season?
They're three great men. I've learned a lot from them. They've always been honest with me when I've played well, or when I've not played so well. They've always been honest, and I've been through clips with them. They've explained to me what to do, so I can't thank them enough so far for putting me into the team and helping me develop as a player.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had all three of them on the show, and of course, what can you say about Sean Coleman and Jimmy Bell and what they've accomplished over the past 20 years? It's just unprecedented, and it just seems like every guy that we've ever had on the show just says they're willing to run through a wall for those guys, and it's just easy to see when you see how many players have left Accrington and gone on to be successful at higher tiers. Just how much of an impact that they have on teaching.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you know much about Accrington Stanley before the loan, and how did the loan come about?
Yeah, so I've always took an interest in League One, League Two, the Championship, all the leagues, and obviously I knew Accrington were a smallish club, but I knew that every player that goes there just wants to work hard for the gaffer and stuff like that. And I knew the interest come around, so I went down there for 2 days training, then played a few games in pre-season, and thankfully got my loan sorted with them. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, how it's gone so far.
Did you expect to get into the squad, or because of the injuries, did you expect to get as much playing time as you had and as quickly as you did?
No, I didn't. At the start, I didn't think I'd get as much as I have, obviously through other reasons. But I thought I'd like to think I'd get myself into the team eventually, if I wasn't at the start.
So one of the things that we wanted to ask you about is recently the team has really just been hit hard by the injury bug. I mean, I know in the last match against Bristol there was 2 goals and 3 injuries, unfortunately. And John Coleman mentioned that there was 19 players either injured or ill the other day, and that he was possibly going to need to pull from the youth team to even fill out the bench. Have you ever been a part of a team that's had this much of an injury issue?
No, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. And I know my career is only short, but so far, but I've never seen anything like it. No, that's crazy. But it's not nice, but we've got to deal with it and carry on moving forward.
Well, you've and playing on the back. I mean, even Doug was out with an injury, and Harvey, like you say, tough old Yorkshireman, gets 8 stitches and he bounces back on the weekend. Have you learned much playing alongside those gentlemen, and what's it like working with those two?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I can speak to Harvey all the time about, because he's played a lot of games now in the league. He knows a lot, and I spoke to him a lot off the pitch. When I see something that I've done on the pitch, I like to ask him what his thoughts are, and he's always been good to me. He's always told me what he thought, what to do, and I always listen to his advice. Yeah.
Well, you've played. I think you probably played all positions on the back, and you seem to be going with the back three now, and you've been sort of slotted into Mitch Clark, his spot. How do you find that?
No, I've been playing on like the right of the three, so it's not quite wing back, but it's right centre back. So I'm used to that, and I like that because I can step in with the ball, but also I'm a centre back and defend. So yeah, I do like that position.
Do you like playing the 3-man back line like you've been playing? I mean, it seems like for the most part that Stanley's been playing the 3-man back line, and like you said, you've been switching back and forth between the center and the right. Is that a preferred formation for you?
Yeah, I do like that. I do like the formation. I think it works well with the team that we've got, and moving forward, I think that is the best formation. But things change like through injuries, and sometimes you can not play that formation. So yeah, but at the moment in time, I'm enjoying the back three.
With the game postponed the other day for the FA Cup replay, how as a player, how do you handle that? First of all, is it a? I mean, I know players want to play, but is there a side benefit of maybe people can recover a little bit more by not playing? Is there pros and cons to the match being postponed, and how does it affect your preparation?
It's, as a player, if you're fit, all you want to do is play matches, and obviously we were frustrated that it was off, but couldn't be helped. Then in another way, as you say, it gives us some players time to recover better and hopefully be back in the squad for the next round, which is obviously a bonus for us. But at the moment in time, you're not really thinking about that on the day. You just want to get the game on, get ready, get on the pitch. So when it's called off, it's frustrating, but there's nothing we could do.
How's Aaron Presley coming along? Is he back in training, or is that some time off yet?
He didn't train today. His foot is still a bit bruised, but he says it's getting a lot better. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to put any time frame or anything on it. So I'm not sure. You'd ask the wrong person. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So it's sort of a touch and go whether he would be available for Saturday. In fact, it might. Yeah. Okay. Because I mean, you've got it's a hectic schedule coming up. Obviously, League One is a concern and getting the points there, but you've got a tough match in the sense of you win that and the FA Cup third round replay next Tuesday, and then the next round is sort of the following weekend, I believe, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. It's exciting. More games, the better.
Yeah, and I mean, if and we don't want to put the horse before the cart, but obviously it's going to be a tough match. Bournemouth are a well coached and well played team, and you're going to have to be at your best to win them. And we know John Coleman is going to put out his best team to get that win, and then Leeds come in, and then you've got Bolton in the Papa John's. So games are coming thick and fast, aren't they? So it's going to be nice to have a couple of bodies in. But
easier with the schedule coming up. It's just one.
No, it's going to be
tough
it's a busy time for you. Yeah. And that's what you want, is it, Ryan? Do you like that? Like you say, more games the better?
Yeah, more games the better. I love games. Yeah, that's what footballers, as a footballer, you want to be playing is games in front of fans. It's what we love, and hopefully, as you say, more games now the better.
What do you think of what's the expectations from a league standpoint? Uh, does the team have enough to get out of out of trouble? Do you feel like the last couple of matches that you guys had, the Lincoln match and then the Bristol Rovers win, does that feel like you've turned a corner?
Yeah, we've got a lot of belief in the change room that we can get ourselves away from the relegation because we've got quality, but we all work hard for each other, and you can see that on the pitch. So once we get a bit of the rub of the green in the games, I think we'll be able to get away from there because we all believe in each other and we know we'll work hard for each other on the pitch.
Well, when you're scoring, then that's an added bonus, isn't it? I mean, good grief, we get defense scoring, and no, it does help when you can get scoring from all levels of your team, and it's I know defenders aren't considered scoring machines, but with you and Harvey, good grief, you've got lots. I mean, you're right up there in the scoring leader between the two of you. I mean, I'm taking all competitions too, because I mean, Harvey's cracked some goals in this year, and you're contributing. So that must be a good feeling for you guys as defenders, for first and foremost, but can contribute offensively. It's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling to help the team with a goal. They don't come around often, so you need to make the most of when the chances come. And any way that we can help the team, and if that's by scoring goals, then we'll do our best. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to think that, hopefully Matt Lowe will be back in March, like we had talked to him about. Hopefully Aaron will be back from his foot injury sooner rather than later. And, I think that once you guys do get, regular strikers back healthy, it's something that's just going to benefit the team even more, that you guys have this experience of having to find goals elsewhere. Say it'll just be, gravy on top of everything when those guys come back.
Yeah, that's what we'd like to see. All our strikers back fit and ready. It'll be a nice sight when that happens.
Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years, Ryan? What's the future hold for you?
I want to play as many games as possible to be able to show what I can do. At the moment, I'm not looking too far ahead. I want to complete the season with Accrington, and I want to get us away from the relegation. And I'll look about that sort of stuff another time. At the moment in time, I'm just concentrating on Accrington.
So your loan move, this being the first, is it what you expected? Is it sort of how's it gone along for you on a positive note?
Yeah, I'm enjoying my time. It's a great experience. I'm learning game to game, so I'm lucky enough to be playing. So at this moment in time, I can't complain. Just need to improve our results, be a bit more consistent, then I think it'll be a great loan.
So being a guy from a small town, like you mentioned earlier, now I mean, Accrington's obviously a little bigger place than where you're from, but does it make it feel a little bit more like home from you going to a small town like Accrington?
Yeah, as you say, the fans are great in Accrington. They're all local who really care about the club, and it's great to see when the fans are there and we can get them the 3 points and they can be able to watch us. It's a great feeling, and they always stick by us, which is great.
Yeah, I think the Clayton end, when they get in their singing mode, and you can see that the team feeds off of them and vice versa, because when the team's playing well and that Clayton end and the ultras get singing and the drum gets going, I mean, it sort of does come across, even when we watch it on iFollow, that you can sort of feel the sense, the atmosphere, because once the fans are going, that being a small stadium that you're playing in, relative to, say, the Premier League, that makes the atmosphere. That's quite an atmosphere. Does it make it feel a little different from a player's point of view, playing in a small ground with that kind of noise and playing in a big stadium?
Yeah, as you said, the stadium is not the biggest, but you would not. With the noise that comes from the fans, you would think it's a massive stadium. It's a great atmosphere, and I'd say the Clayton end, once they're singing, there's no better noise that I'd like to play in front of at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as somebody who lives over 5,000 miles away from Accrington, that's exactly what attracted me to the club. It's just the passion of the fans, that the way that the club is part of the community. The way that when I'm watching on iFollow, I can hear 3,000 fans that sound like 30,000 fans just making that much noise. It's just an incredible thing, and that's the reason that we're here doing this show, and we just can't say how happy we are to have you as part of the club and contributing this season.
Thank you. Yeah, it means a lot. I'm thoroughly enjoying my time at Accrington, and I'll keep working hard, and let's see if we can get ourselves away from the relegation.
Well, I was.
Don't have any doubt that'll happen.
Yeah, well, I was over for a few games in September, October, and I gotta say, and this is we didn't know you were going to be on the show, but I was impressed by your calmness, your maturity at such a young age, and your professionalism. You seem to just it was not like you were playing in the men's League One side for the first time. You looked like you'd been doing it for a long while. So I think that says a lot to your character and who you are. So yeah, keep up the good work. Yeah, because you've contributed extremely well and done a lot for the club and the time you've been here. So I want to thank you for doing this today, and thank you for your coming to Accrington for a loan, and good luck in the league. Good luck in both the cups, and all the best in your career with Everton or wherever it may be, and all the best to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me on. I've enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you for coming on. We've definitely enjoyed talking with you, and we really appreciate you taking the time. And I just want to reiterate everything that Tony said. We wish you continued success with not only this season, but the rest of your career, whether it be with Everton, whether you come back to Accrington in the future, or wherever else you go. We want to see nothing but success for you. And before we do wrap up, was there anything that we hadn't asked you about that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think we've gone over everything that's through my career so far with Everton, my international, and my first loan now at Accrington. So no, I'm happy that we've gone over everything, and as you say, thank you for having me on. It's been very good.
Yeah, well, it's what we've tried to do over the years is to get players on that are not only under contract but loan players, because they're an important part of teams at this level, and it's nice for us to feel the compassion that the loan player has for the loan club, and your contribution to it. So it's we've enjoyed it, and as I say, all the best, and good luck on Saturday. You're at Barnsley, and tough match, but I'm quite confident the way you guys are playing, you can come away with the result.
Yeah, so yeah.
Absolutely, and we can't thank you enough for your contributions, like Tony said, and your passion for the game of football. And we'd like to finish up with an on Stanley on. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, on Stanley on.
On Stanley on.
Cheers, guys.
You're not going to sing us off, are you, Phil? Anyway, thanks. Cheers, Ryan.
I won't subject anybody to that.